Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Well, that happened. That was not fun. It felt like it was going to be fun for a second there. Felt like it was about to be a great comeback for a team in desperate need of one, in desperate need of something to hold on to. But instead, the architect of the near comeback winds up being its cause of destruction. Welcome back to Game Over Toronto. I'm Dominic Jones. With me, Lauren Williamson. We're here to talk about that. Another Leafs loss. Leafs lose in overtime to the Boston Bruins, dropping 3 games in a row. The last 2 Leafs games, I think, were frustrating because they were blown out in games that they shouldn't have been blown out. And this one was frustrating because they gave us hope. It's the hope that kills you. It was like a mini version of the entire playoff series last year, where there was a little bit of back and forth. Then Boston is kind of leading things. Then Toronto's showing some life, and then they come back. They tied in the last minute, just the same way they tied the series in those last 2 games, only to blow it in spectacular fashion in overtime in the last game, or in the last game in the case of this overextended metaphor. Let's get into things. Let's talk about this game. Talk about what we saw, what we learned, how we're feeling, all of that. Lauren, how are you feeling after this loss in particular?
Well, let me just put it this way. For most of the game, I had the game on in the background, and I was actually watching Taylor Swift's live stream from New Orleans because I simply could not put myself through watching that game again. They looked okay. They didn't look great in the first period. They looked very good in the second period. And then in the third period, they managed to have all of 6 shots. So, yeah, like they did in Game 7, Pasternak and Marchand connect to end it against the Leafs after they give us hope with a minute to go. It was a frustrating game, man, and I should have bet money tonight because going into tonight, the only hope that I really, if I'm being honest with myself, the only real hope that I had came from the fact that we had Anthony Stolarz in net. And there was more than one save tonight where Stolarz made 3 or 4 saves on the same play, and Toronto was not able to clear those rebounds, and 2 goals that Boston scores are a result of multiple rebound opportunities. I wish that we had played better for Stoli, if not even for the fans. What did you see, Dom? Because you're like I feel so bad because I feel like I'm always like the sad clown here, and you're always like, you got a big smile and you're trying to make the best of everything, and you're like, here's the silver lining, and I'm like, spoiler alert, it's actually lightning.
Before they gave us hope, I had written down for topics we could discuss, reasons for optimism. I was gonna go looking for reasons for optimism. Mm-hmm. And then Brad Marchand scores his first goal of the season to win it in overtime. And I'm like, burn it all to the ground. Burn it all to the ground. Trade them all. Get rid of them. It's the hope that kills you. Because, if they had just lost 3-2, like they were supposed to, we could have come on here and said, well, there was this and that. It was annoying, but there was this and that. But Matthews and Marner, who people have been talking about, maybe the chemistry is dying there. Maybe it's time to break them up. But we're talking about that. They connect for a beautiful goal, just a terrific goal. And you think, there it is. There's what's been missing.
There's the hope.
And then overtime starts, and they're doing pretty well. They're doing pretty well in this overtime period. And then Matthews, in his best Travis Dermott impression, just throws the puck to nobody. And Brad Marchand, who, as frustrating as he is an elite talent, sees that and grabs it and rushes in. And with the other elite talent, David Pasternak, the two of them just swarm the crease like bumblebees, as Stompin' Tom once wrote. And there's nothing that Stolarz could do, and he tried his best. He nearly kicked it out of the air while lying on his stomach, and
He
even
almost
that,
did a scorpion save.
yeah,
with the feet.
even that wasn't enough. Even that wasn't enough. I think there's probably a few times, like you said, they should have won this for Stolarz, because I think there's a few times where he would be well within his rights to go, what more do you need me to do? What more do you need me to do? I think it was the third goal. It was the second or third goal, one of them. He stops the initial shot, stops the rebound, and then it goes in on the second rebound. So the third shot. I mean, what more do you want? The guy is giving you a chance to win, and we'll focus, I think, probably a lot on the offense. But the defense, like, why are they just letting these pucks be? Why are they not getting to them first? Why can't they gobble up these rebounds, clear them away, and give themselves at least a chance? Even if you can't turn those chances into something, at least stop the other team from scoring.
At least clear the puck.
Yeah, clear the puck.
Yeah. I don't know what the magic answer is there. And it's weird. Like, their PK so far this year, I mean, they're 80% tonight. Their PK so far this year has been pretty good. They've done a decent job of clearing out those opportunities and stopping situations like this where other teams are getting second, third, and fourth chances.
Mm-hmm.
It seems, you know what it is? It feels like every time the Leafs are able to, like, okay, so there's a wall, okay? And it's a wall of the submarine, and there is a pinhole. And so you go and you put your finger over the pinhole, and then there's another pinhole that opens across the way. And so you're trying to play like Pop the Weasel with all of these leaks that are happening, and it feels like every time we actually stop a leak, a new one sprouts up somewhere.
Yeah.
And the last couple of games, this is now the Leafs' third loss in a row, which has not happened in at least, I think, a season.
Mm-hmm.
This keeps happening, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's, the personnel, they're trying all these different things and it's just not working. I don't have an answer.
Yeah.
I literally don't have an answer. And it seems like neither do the Leafs. And it's becoming very evident that every time something sort of gets fixed, another pinhole pops up somewhere, and we're sinking to the bottom of the ocean at this point. For us to be 9 games into the season and have 9 points is simply not good enough. Not when there's teams like Winnipeg that are now 8-0.
Yeah, and guess who's next up for the Leafs? Winnipeg. It's wild to think what the last 7 days have been for the Toronto Maple Leafs, how the narrative has turned, how the team has seemingly forgotten everything that seemed so positive coming out of Monday. And not even Monday, coming out of Saturday and Monday. Yes, they lost last Saturday to New York, but it felt like a good loss. It felt like a loss you could be okay with. You don't ever want to lose, but that one felt like, well, if you're going to lose, if you have to lose, at least lose that way. At least lose a game that you're involved, that you had chances. There were opportunities where you could have won. There's lessons you can take from it. But overall, you don't have to feel too terribly about it. You follow that up with the, flaming pile of garbage on Tuesday. Or you follow that up with the win against Tampa, which was great. Then you follow that up on Tuesday with the Columbus game. Follow that up with another flaming pile of garbage on Thursday against St. Louis. And then you come into this one. This is your first time facing Boston since they eliminated you from the playoffs for the 4th time in 15 years. And now, and this is the effort that you have. And, it felt like they scored on all of their opportunities, on all of their really good opportunities, which I guess is a good thing. But there should have been more than 3 really good opportunities. You really needed more than three good opportunities, and they couldn't make it happen. And Boston didn't play great either. Boston didn't have a ton of opportunities. They could have easily lost this game.
Yep.
And you could look at Boston and Toronto starting this season mirroring each other pretty closely.
Yeah.
And yet Boston, they were able to dig deep and find it in this one and take advantage of, just again, a boneheaded play from Matthews. The sort of thing I think he will learn from and not do again. But oof, it was a tough way to go down because he had been playing so well.
Well, and it's tough, because in the opening 30 seconds, William Nylander actually gets a really good opportunity. He enters the Boston zone. He gets a chance right at the net, and that, there's a Ryan Reeves penalty that happens 3 minutes in, which again, the early game penalties are absolutely crippling this team at this point. And then they don't have a shot on goal for the first 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah. Brutal.
That is simply not good enough. It's simply not good enough.
Yeah.
They end the first period with 5 shots on goal. And in the third period, they had a grand total of 6 shots on goal. You need more than that. You need more than that. If you are trying to play against a team that has a very good offense, that has a very good newly re-signed goalie that is probably feeling pretty good about themselves. The only good thing that happened out of tonight's game is the fact that this is the first time that the Leafs have scored 3 goals against Jeremy Swayman. So we know that we can do it. But it's not enough. It's not enough when you allow 2 goals from the Bruins 36 seconds apart. It's not good enough when you take silly penalties and they convert on them. For them to get a 5-on-3 opportunity and for them to barely have a single shot on goal in that 5-on-3 is simply not good enough. They are not playing good enough right now. And I don't know what it is. It seems like the sea has turned into a set of fangs on Matthews' chest. I don't know how many opportunities he's had so far this season that have gone off the post, that have gone off the crossbar.
Yeah.
He has 2 goals so far this season?
He does have 4. I think his goal tonight, I think they said was his 4th, but still.
He's tied with Matthew Nyes.
Yeah. Well, Matthew Nyes was leading the team or tied for team lead with goals at a certain point tonight, right? Like he was leading that line.
Because we're live streaming, and I'm just so frustrated. It's
he was. It's again. Matthew Nyes, again, if we go back to, reasons for optimism, continues to be about the only one. He continues to be about the only one.
Him and Anthony Stolarz.
Yeah, those 2 guys are doing their part, and everybody else is sort of drowning and swimming. And it was like you were saying, whenever they plug one hole, one leak, something else comes up. The Nylander, Domi, McMahon line has just vanished. Just vanished off the face of the earth. The only times you noticed Willie tonight was when he was either falling over or taking a penalty. I don't want to pick on him for falling over. That happens. It just, had one of those nights. And the penalty
in that one section of the game, it was like there was motor oil in the ice. Nylander fell twice in a row and Matthews fell over. It was really weird. Yeah. Who didn't fall over tonight? Nick Robertson.
Nick Robertson, of course. Oh. But that line has vanished. They were so impactful in those games they were winning, and now it's gone. And in those games that they were winning, we're going, okay, what's going on with Tavares? What's going on with Robertson? What's going on with that line? That line, again, they're not overwhelming. They're not necessarily a super, super strong line. But when they were out there, especially with Pacioretty, I felt a little bit more confident. You're seeing those signs of life. You're seeing the potential there. And especially with Patches in the lineup, you're like, okay, there could be something here. Something could be working. So it's like that line is like, okay, we're getting going. We're starting off. We're starting to get strong. And the Nylander, Domi, McMahon line is like, we've forgot how to play hockey. We don't know what we're doing here. I went from noticing Bobby McMahon and saying he was my favorite player on the Leafs this season. I went from seeing him every play to going, where is this guy? Where is this man? Where's this McMahon gone? You barely noticed him in this game, which is unfortunate because when you do notice him, generally good things are happening. So again, there's for whatever good things happen, something else falls off. And
a very good part of that, if we're let's ride the coattails of what you just said. When it feels like something good happens, something bad happens.
Yeah.
Morgan Rielly getting a very nice goal tonight.
Great.
And then he is literally the direct cause of the Bruins comeback. 5 minutes later.
Yeah.
Right? James Myrtle tweeted out, "Oh, what's going on with Morgan Riley?" And I just put Morgan Riley giveth and Morgan Riley taketh away.
Yeah.
Because that goal is unbelievable.
It's great.
It might be like one of the few one-timer goals that have happened for the Leafs this season that have actually gone in.
Yeah.
It's the only one from a defenseman for sure that was a one-timer that goes in. And then 5 minutes later, it's like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to leave the Bruins alone out front because what could happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? And just for good measure, we put him back on the just for good measure, we put him back on the power play. But we'll come to that in our traditional second period power play talk. I was so excited when Riley scored that goal. Like I was like, this is what this team needs. Needs some scoring.
Yep.
Needs somebody who's been not necessarily their best stepping in and doing what needs to be done and making something happen. And then it all went away. And it went away and the game was tied. And then next thing you know, Boston was leading a matter of seconds later. And yeah, again, they couldn't help their goalie out. He did everything it could have asked for. And
Stolarz deserve better.
He did. He really did.
He really did.
Anything else jump out to you, like just overall, like the any players on our team that or on the Leafs that just kind of you feel like we need to see more from, or even again, if we maybe want to try and be slightly optimistic, showed some signs of life in this one?
I mean, Matthew Knies continues to impress.
Yes.
I think so far, I think we can both probably agree that he's been the Leafs' most consistent player other than Anthony Stolarz to start off the season, and it's not particularly close.
No.
He seems to have taken to Berube's coaching style change like a duck to water. He really seems like every single game he's getting more and more confident. And if we want to talk about good things, I think that if we want to get Matthews back scoring, I think that Knies could take the position of what Tyler Bertuzzi was last season and be on the left wing and have Max Domi on the right.
Interesting.
I think it's pretty clear that whatever that Franken line is of Holmberg, Domi, and McMahon, not even Holmberg tonight, but the third line.
Yeah.
The more time goes on, the less productive they're being. I mean, maybe part of that is the fact that Nylander did have such a tough game tonight. It was really bad. Like he has that one really bad giveaway that leads to a goal. He gets a penalty like the next minute, which leads to the double minor that leads to the 4-on-3. Which, in fairness, the Leafs do kill off, but again, it's a momentum killer. Right at that point, the game is still very winnable. They're still only down by one, and it's just. They were even up at that point, and then it's just all it takes is one silly play, and boy, do the Bruins know how to ride the momentum wave. I do think that one of the other really good things we need to talk about is the fact that Anthony Stolarz did give the Leafs a chance to win tonight.
Yeah,
he was phenomenal. There were so many saves tonight where he saved the first, second, and third shots. And on the goal where the Leafs finally fall behind, they bury on what is essentially the fourth rebound. And then even the overtime goal, like you said, he gives them an opportunity to get back in position, and the Leafs just can't clear it. Matthews was just, if he's two steps closer to the goal line, then maybe he's able to, push the Bruins out of the way. But, I think that if any other goalie that we've had so far this year plays, then this is another blowout game where it is, we do get 6 or 5 hung up on them. And, it's they're lucky to get a point. If I'm being completely honest, if they won the game, I'm not going to say I wouldn't be happy about it, because don't get me wrong, 2 points is 2 points, especially against division rivals and the team that did kick your teeth in last spring, in case you forgot. You would hope that they would be able to capitalize, and when your goalie plays that good, man, you got to do better to produce offense. And tonight the second period was phenomenal for the Leafs. They did take a couple penalties, but they were able to kill off that double minor. The second period that felt like they won that, and it wasn't particularly close. And then, they sort of go out with a whimper at the end there.
Yeah. And just to underscore how tough a night Nylander had, he took that 4-minute double minor, and who did he take it against? His best buddy, David Pasternak. So if you watch the Amazon doc, you saw that those guys go out for dinner when they play each other. Wonder how that next meal's gonna go. Hey, Willie.
Pasternak's gonna be like, haha, guess what? I got a double minor and you guys lost.
I think next time Pasternak sees Willie, he should just duck instinctively anytime Nylander comes near him. All right. Let's move into the second period, and as we do, of course, want to remind you, make sure you're following Game Over on all the social networks, at Game Over NHL on Twitter, at Game Over Network on Instagram. Make sure you're subscribed to Game Over Toronto, subscribe to all the various Game Overs, and enjoy the great discussions about all of the Canadian teams, and support on Patreon if you really like what you're hearing and want to support a project like this. Let's talk about the power play, and I'm going to throw up a screenshot that we've got here from this game of Mitch Marner, and boy, he's about to pass the puck. I think everybody knows this moment. It was on one of the power plays. Marner had a pass comes across to Marner, wide open net. Swayman's coming, and he throws it into the middle. It does lead to a shot, but it doesn't lead to as good a shot as there would have been had he taken that shot. Lauren, you sent me that in the middle of the game. You're like, please have this. I will turn the floor over to you to respond to this.
You know, the worst part is that Mitch Marner had 3 assists tonight.
Yeah.
And if they score there, then we don't even have a conversation about that.
Nope.
It's a joke, but it's not the punchline. It's a part of the joke. It's not the punchline. This is the punchline. Like, this is not the first time that Mitch Marner has passed up an opportunity to bury a goal. And Lauren Kelly, who is a wonderful follow, if you do not follow them on Twitter, made a very good point about his positioning on the ice. Let me pull her thing up right here. Shout out Lauren Kelly. Again, if you don't follow her, you should, because she is phenomenal. So let's talk about this situation. Oh my gosh. Keep talking. I need to find this tweet.
Well, it's crazy because it's becoming the sort of theme of the power play, which is they pass and pass and pass and pass and pass, and they never shoot it. And that moment, I think, just encapsulates it. And again, if it was just part of something that was, it was just one thing that happened. It was just one play in the game, and the Leafs wound up winning, or they scored on this power play or a different power play, or if they'd scored in any of their other previous power plays in the previous games, you just look at this and go, he was trying something, c'est la vie, it didn't work. But because it has been so catastrophically bad, and because it's the same problem just about every game, that moment winds up, it's just the perfect representation of everything that has been wrong with this season so far.
Yeah. I got the tweet.
Excellent.
So, I don't know if you can bring that image back up on the screen. If you can't, that's okay.
I got
it. It's very active on Twitter, so you can find it. Okay, so Lauren Kelly tweets out, "Look at the way his blade is angled and torso closed. A shot was never even on his mind as an option. He was always set up for a pass. Even if he somehow wanted to shoot, he'd probably have to receive, stick handle, and reload before firing. He's not set up properly for a one-timer. If you are in that position on the power play, which is struggling, and you know that you're having a hard time getting on net, don't get me wrong. I think passing is always a good option on the power play. But when you are gifted 5 feet of open net and you don't even have it as an option to shoot, then there is something wrong with your brain chemistry, sir. There is that spot, the exact spot that Mitch Marner is parked in right there, is the reason that Cole Caulfield has like 8 goals so far this season. He has like 5 goals from that spot. Now, I am not asking Mitch Marner to be Cole Caulfield, even though they both have names that start with the same letter. Their first and last names both start with the same letters. There are things that this team can do, and there are things that some players on this team can do. And Mitch Marner can have a very good shot. We have seen that he has a very good one-timer, even though it's not always on, even though sometimes he falls on his butt, even though he is usually a pass first person. If you are standing in that position and you get an opportunity like that, then, or you know that the puck is moving well and that you can see, because Mitch Marner has better vision than most people in the entire league. Can we agree on that?
Oh,
he has unbelievable
1,000%.
vision.
1,000%.
So there is no way he doesn't see that Boston is on the other side of the goal. Swayman is literally touching the other post.
Yeah.
He's touching the post. And Mitch Marner draws it into the backhand and passes it. And he's staring. There is 5 feet of open net. And he's not even in position to give his team an advantage and to score on the power play that has been not even anemic. It is on fucking life support. And it is just a microcosm of the overpassing and the decision making on the power play, which is leading to, I think it's kind of like an avalanche effect here, right? Like we know that the power play's been bad. They know that the power play's been bad.
Yeah.
And every power play that they get, they are grabbing their sticks harder and harder.
Yeah.
And the result of that is you're overthinking, and that when you get a man opportunity, instead of being like, okay, guys, here we go, we're going to take control, and this is where we turn the tide. Instead, they're like, oh no, it's that thing that we have to do that we suck at this year. And this is just a microcosm of the poor decision making on the power play. And it's just 3 assists is great.
It's
3
wonderful.
assists that's wonderful. I think he moved into he's in the 3rd player in Maple Leafs franchise history to have more than 50 games with more than 2 assists.
Great.
Congratulations, lovely. Mitchell. Give yourself a pat on the back, and make sure you give yourself an extra pat on the back in the springtime when you're out in the first round again.
Let's get one of those pucks taped up for him that says, latest Leaf to do that. Yeah, it's.
Sorry, I'm a little bit angry now. Oh
no, fair enough. It's fair. The Leafs have had various slogans over the years, and they paint it in the dressing room so that they can see it. I think right now it's honor, pride, courage. It used to be the passion that unites us all. I remember at one point it was spirit is everything. I think the new slogan for this team that they need to paint everywhere was said by one of them last year on the bench. It is, of course, just fucking shoot it, bro. I've just put that inside the jerseys instead of honor, pride, courage. Put that, let that be the message. Let that be the message. Berube should just play that moment from the Amazon documentary on repeat instead of showing them tape from this game. Because that seems they're afraid to do that. And the one time the power play looked really dangerous, very briefly, was that 5-on-3. Because they went, let's just shoot the puck. Let's shoot the puck. Let's try. Yeah. Let's move it fast and let's shoot it. There never seems to be any urgency to the power play. There never seems to be any attempt to get the other team out of position. It's just slow, careful passes constantly. And, being methodical, being careful, those are good things to do. But the thing about a power play is you have an advantage, and the advantage is there is one less Boston player on the ice. And if you move the puck quickly, if you move it fast, then all of a sudden, as Boston or whoever is looking for, is chasing that puck, then they're out of position. Then there's more open ice. But when you move it slowly and you stand there and you stick handle with it forever looking for the perfect pass, what winds up happening? They get into position to block it. And so when it feels like half the time when the Leafs do actually shoot it, it gets blocked, and then it's down the ice and they're chasing it again. And I thought of you during the game, Lauren, because they kept doing that stupid drop pass over and over. The back pass, they just get it in the zone. They weren't getting entries, and when they weren't doing anything with it. And the irony on top of all of that is that Boston showed them how to do it perfectly on the Pasternak goal. It was pass, shot in the net. Perfect.
Tic-tac-toe. And where did he score from, Dom? Where did Pasternak score from?
Just about here. just about
where Mitch was.
Right in that same
and
spot.
And you know what? They both play the wing.
Yeah.
I feel like Mugatu in Zoolander. Does anybody see this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it has.
And Boston's power play has not been good this year either.
No.
And they did exactly what they needed to do. They kept it simple. They make straight, fast, quick, accurate passes. It does you no good to make fast passes to no one, which has been a problem that has plagued the Leafs in the last, I'm going to say 4 games.
Yep.
Right? Lots of passes to nobody. The play tonight that causes them to lose the game is the result of a pass to nobody.
Yeah.
And so on the few opportunities that they did have on the power play tonight, first of all, I don't know if the Leafs are capable of entering the zone with less than 5 people on the blue line, because it seems like they want to hold hands and play Red Rover, send Timothy Liljegren right over, because the last time that the Leafs power play looked decent, he was quarterbacking it. And so we know that the Leafs power play has not been good. It has looked significantly better once OEL was moved to the top power play line. And so what do? They go, just kidding. Just kidding. Him off. Just kidding.
And when Riley scored, it wasn't a power play goal, but it was a 4-on-4 goal. And I was thinking, like, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe he's got a fire lit under him, and he's like, I'm going to prove myself here in my 800th game, and show what I can do, remind people why I was the power play quarterback for all those years. And it looked worse tonight than it has even in the previous games where it didn't look great.
Yep.
It's just confusing. It's just
also,
confusing.
I do want to say one quick thing. So you were talking about the slogan in the locker room, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find it. There it is. I found it. I was scrubbing the video as you were talking. Okay. So you were talking about the slogan in the training room, right?
Yeah.
And it was honor, pride, courage. Okay.
Yeah.
It's on the back of this.
Yeah.
Honor, pride, everything. Okay. Do you know what the fucking slogan is in the training room? I'm swearing a lot tonight.
Yeah. No,
do you
go
know
for
what
it.
Do you know what it is?
What is it? No grit.
No grit. No grind. No greatness. Why would you put that in your training room? Or
Go.
why is that up? Why is that up?
And
Berube was like, "Oh yeah, this is what we've been told we are." Right. So you put it on your wall?
Yeah. Make it grit, grind, greatness. Take the word no out of there.
No grit, no grind, no greatness. And you know what? So far, they're right, man. That couldn't be more accurate.
They're living up to it. They are living up to it. It's
the advertisement.
Yeah. They hey, truth in advertising. That's all we can ask for, right? What more do you want? What more do you want?
Just the next time you wonder why they are the way that they are, just what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Leafs Blueprint, okay, on the YouTube channel, on the Leafs YouTube channel, and you're going to watch season 10, episode 1, Craig Berube. You're going to scrub to 6 minutes and 21 seconds in so that you can see for yourself. Because I don't know about you, but I work in security. I'm a manager at a security company, which is very exciting. And we have slogans that we live by. And so I don't know why you would put a negative slogan like that up in your office.
No.
What's the matter with you?
No,
Give your head a shake.
There's a reason why the cat is holding onto the rope and it says hang in there. It doesn't say just let go.
Just let go, bro.
Say no.
Just fucking let go, bro.
No, you can't do it. Oh my gosh. That's a really
it's okay.
weird one.
You tried.
Yeah.
That's what Yoda said. He actually said, do not, just try. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. People, that's one of those often misquoted things from Star Wars. Like, it's not Luke, I am your father. It's no, I am your father. People think it's do or do not.
Luke, I'm your daddy.
Yeah,
that's what it really is.
I mean, that's what Brad Marchand said to the Leafs tonight, in the final moments there.
Future alternate captain on the Four Nations Cup.
Yeah.
Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
I have to cheer for that man in like a year.
You know what? Maybe the Four Nations Cup is going to be interesting, and because Brad Marchand and Mitch Marner are very likely on the same team, and they may wind up playing together on like a power play or a penalty kill.
Right.
Maybe Brad can show Mitch a thing or two here. Maybe he can say, hey, buddy, I know we usually are on opposite sides, but tonight we're playing for the same team. Let me show you how I do things, and you try and do that while you're wearing red here. And then once you start wearing blue, forget all about it and go right back to, the way that you've always been. But yeah, no, the passing, the no shooting. There's like you're saying, it feels like they're in their heads. They're in their heads. They know it's a problem, and they're looking for the perfect solution. And the reality is, the perfect solution does not exist. The perfect solution is an imperfect solution. It is to create chaos. It is to create madness, and hope that can translate into something good.
And a perfect example of that is the Matthew Nyes goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Austin Matthews drives the net. Okay. Again, first time that they've done that all game. And what does it do? It leads to a scoring opportunity. Austin Matthews decides, fine, I'll do it myself. He goes in 3-on-1, gets in front of the net, gets the rebound, and then Matthew Nyes buries it. They create chaos in front, and their big guys go in front of the net in the slot, and they bury it. And there were a couple of opportunities tonight. There was another opportunity on the Nick Robertson Tavares Pacioretty line where Nick Robertson did the same. He got into the zone, he drove the net. Tavares got the rebound, and Swayman did save at that time. But it was one of the few scoring opportunities that was actually a challenge for Swayman. There were not many goals tonight, or many shots tonight that were a challenge for Swayman to save. There were so many shots from the point that just hit him, that he just catches. He doesn't even do the big flash the letter, boom. No, he just, thanks very much. Picking apples. That's what it looked like. I mean,
it's his Alaska upbringing. He's not flashy. He just gets in there and gets it done. I love goofy, ridiculous, prove a point suggestions for coaches. I would, much in the same way I said that Hildeby should have started on Thursday. I want Berube to go, all right, you know what? The top power play unit in the next game is David Kampf, Steven Lorentz, Ryan Reeves, Connor Timmins, and just for good measure, I don't know, Max Pacioretty. Just put out anybody and say, just do whatever you can. Just try something. Just run around and have fun and see if you can do something. And maybe you get a goal, and it shows the big guys, you don't have to be perfect. You can just, if these guys can do it, you can do it. So just follow their lead and get in there. I don't think that's actually going to happen. Probably that would lead to a lot of bad things happening, but there's part of me that would just like to just as a little message to the big guys, to just run that out there. Put the fourth line and the bottom 60, put Simon Benoit out there and just say, let's try this. And just, I don't know, just to have something different happen instead of the same pass, let easy shot, block down the ice that we usually get.
Yeah. Well, and keep it to the outside, right?
Yeah.
You don't get any slots, don't get any shots into the inside of the slot.
No.
Heaven forbid.
Why would you do that?
Man, it's 9 games in here. And the power play was crap to end the season. The power play has been crap to start the season.
Yeah.
And we are sitting here screaming and begging and clawing at our eyes, trying and hoping and praying that they change the personnel on the power play. And they're still not.
Nope.
So maybe we are asking too much that they make changes.
Yeah.
Because there's no other reason for them to be sticking with this other than, someone that has the biggest office at MLSC, Brendan Shanahan, is the one that's making the decisions on who's on the power play.
Yeah.
Because how can you look at what's happening and be like, we're just going to keep sticking with it?
Yeah. That is the question. That is the question of this season so far.
Yeah.
And I think on that note, we'll move into the third period here. I'm gonna describe the start of a season to you, Lauren. And you're gonna tell me what season this was. Leafs played their first 8 games. They won 4. They lost 4. Then in their 9th game, they played the team that eliminated them the year previously in 7 games in the first round, the Boston Bruins. You're probably thinking, hey, that's this year. Nope, that's 2019-2020. And
I was going to say, I think that was the pre-COVID year.
Yep. Let's remember how that season ended. I mean, obviously, it ended in the goofy way, but they were going to, if they were going to make the playoffs, they were going to be the 8th seed. They're going to be the team that barely scrapes in, which is why they played Columbus in the bubble. And what
a fun memory to dredge up.
Right. But here's the thing: when they played Boston in December or in October 2019, in that 9th game, they won.
Yay!
And they couldn't even do that. They couldn't even do that tonight. I've this whole week, ever since the Lightning game, and as soon as things started going downhill and going downhill fast like a roller coaster, I've been thinking it's starting to feel like 2019 and 2020, and we might get
Jumanji, right? Like the old Jumanji with Robin Williams. What year is it?
Yeah, and we never got to see how that season would have truly ended because of COVID. We might get a pretty good picture this year, and if things don't start to turn around, we might find ourselves, or the Leafs might find themselves fighting for a playoff spot come the end of the season. It won't be the sort of sad march to a predestined first round matchup the way it's been the last 2 years with Boston and Tampa, where it's like, well, at least you're going to the first round, and at least you're playing a good team. This might be, you're fighting for every point come March and April, and that's not going to be fun. That's not going to be fun. Not for a team like this that should be competing for the ultimate prize.
It's not going to be fun, but maybe that's the shakeup that they need.
Yeah.
Right? Like let's if we're going to look into the sad past, let's consider the fact that the last couple of years they have known in December who they were going to face in the first round, and the tail end of the last 3 seasons they have gone out with a sad little whimper being sort of wheelbarrowed off the stage to end the season. Mm-hmm. Right? Maybe needing to actually fight for a playoff spot all the way to the end is the way that you screw their brain matter up enough that they go, we have to actually play hockey that means something. Because I tell you, the way they're playing right now, if they play this way like down the stretch, like I won't be able to watch this first round again. Like I like I said, the last couple, I've had the unfortunateness of getting stuck with a lot of losses so far this year. It's the way that the cookie crumbles, right? Last year I actually got like a number of wins right in a row, and it was like I was like magic beans on the stream. And now it's like them beans have dried up, and it is now a drought in the field of happiness growth. And it's just I don't know. I'm so at a loss of what the solution is that, like, I don't know, maybe they do need to miss the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then give Matthew Nyes all of the money that you want to give Mitch Marner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Craig Berube has been brought in as the new coach. A lot of fanfare around that. Obviously, he's won the cup. He won the cup with St. Louis. And St. Louis, the year they won the cup, they got off to a playoff spot. Yeah, they got off to a really terrible start and had to kind of claw their way back into things. Last year, Edmonton was horrendous out of the gate. Horrendous. And they fought their way all the way to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. Maybe there's something to this, because I keep looking at Berube, and we were told all through the offseason this guy's going to do different things. He's going to bring a different energy. He's going to bring a different philosophy and mentality to this team. And so far this season, it has been a lot of the same things that we've seen in all the previous years. You could if somebody missed the entire summer, if you went away for the entire summer, you didn't have access to the internet, and you didn't know that a coaching change had happened, and you came back and you just started watching this game, you see when they cut to the bench and go, boy, Sheldon Keefe looks different. What's with that hairstyle? Like,
it's so mad.
He was much more angry than he used to. He used to only be that way when he was yelling at Graham Skilleter. But it's it feels like it's just been new coach, same as the old coach. And I don't think that that's what Berube wants. I don't think he wants to just continue on with what was going on before he got here. I think he does want to put his stamp on this team. And I'm starting to wonder if the lack of changes, if he's like galaxy braining this, where the lack of changes are by design, so that when we get to 10 or 15 games into the season and we're looking at a 5-5 record or worse, he can go, okay, we did it your way. He can say this to Shanny. He can say this to Brad. He can say this to the players who probably want to keep this power play thing going. They're hockey players. They don't like change. He can say to them, we tried it your way. It's not working. Now we're going to do things my way. So we're starting up by breaking up this top power play unit. We're starting by changing the lines. We're going to, we're going to go all these different, we're going to try different things, and we're going to find the spark, that same spark that St. Louis found in 2018-19, that same spark that Edmonton found last season, that will ignite this team to live up to their potential. Because right now it's just, again, it's same story as every year. Same story as every year. If anything, it's just a worse version of it. It's, it's that sequel you've been waiting for, and it starts off with all the same problems as the predecessor, but without all the good things. Because at least in the previous years, we got a couple of fun months out of the power play. This year, we're just picking up with things being dark and dour and depressing. Again, maybe reading too much into what's going on here, but I can't believe that they would make such a big deal about replacing the coach and bring in somebody who is so stylistically different than Sheldon Keefe.
Not even just the coach.
Yeah. The whole coaching staff.
Yep.
The whole coaching staff is different. And just to have them do the exact same things, because that's all we're seeing is the same. It's basically the same lines. Yeah, I guess Tavares is off the second line and centering a third line. But I think about that LA game, that timeout that Berube took where he yelled at him, let's go hunt, let's do this. We haven't seen that at any other point. And I'm wondering if that's like our one little flash into what he is going to eventually try to do with this team. But for now, he's basically letting them dig their own graves and say, all right, you've dug your grave. Are you going to lie in it, or are you going to let me help you get out of it?
But then that's a very good question. Maybe that is what they're doing, but that is a dangerous game to play. Because
it's Russian roulette.
At what point do you suddenly flip that switch? And then you're also banking on the players deciding to hop on the wagon as well. Right? Really quickly, some of the post-game comments came out. Austin Matthews on the OT winner. Quote, I thought somebody was coming back, and then I went to pass it. I looked up, and it just wasn't the case. So I tried to get back and make a play, and that was just an unfortunate bounce. Coach Berube on the winner. Quote, it was a tough play on Austin. We got to support him a little better in that play. We just left him alone, and it was a mistake by everybody. I mean, it sounds like he's trying to hold the whole team accountable. Mm-hmm. Some of them... Boy, Leafs fan, we're just fully down the rabbit hole, eh? So many people tweeting out that video of the Leafs, all of the players trying to play on a recorder. And it's like how this week has felt as a Leafs fan.
Yeah, it's about how it's felt. It's felt. Yeah. I mean, look, I don't know what Austin's supposed to say other than I made a mistake. Maybe look before you pass, especially in the defensive zone. Look before you pass. But yeah, it's just frustrating. Just a frustrating one.
Leafs power play goes on 3 tonight. Now 3-30 on the season.
oh, that's just hurtful.
I'm so glad I watched this game instead of going to my cousin's Halloween party.
Oh my God. Oh, what fun. All right. If you're listening live and you have any questions, throw them out to us so we can answer them as we move into our overtime period. But Lauren, facing the Jets next. What can we even hope for at this point against literally the best team right now?
What can we hope for? Well, there's always hope. Right.
Yes.
Even if it is a little bit misguided. or it's like, you're sitting on the back of the Titanic as it's already split and everybody else is already dead. And you're like, maybe it'll be okay. My hope is that the Leafs take an opportunity and do what they are so good at doing and rise to the greatness of the moment and having an opportunity to play really good hockey against a really good hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
They have done that this year. They have done that in years previous. We know that they love a good game against a very, very, very good team.
Mm-hmm.
It would be hysterical and kind of perfect for the Leafs to end this losing streak by beating the currently undefeated Winnipeg Jets on Monday. That would be that. I mean, is that not the Leafiest way to go into this?
Yeah.
Is that not the Leafiest win of the season?
Yeah.
If you want some easy money, bet for the Leafs on Monday.
Yeah,
that's my positivity.
Almost tempting to just throw down $5 and see what happens.
Just hit the over, man.
Yeah.
Anthony Stolarz and the Leafs are going to shut out the Jets.
Yeah. It just seems that
Just
way.
Hammer the over, man. Just hammer the over. Connor Hella. I mean, let's look at it, okay?
Yeah.
We already got Vasilevsky pulled. Well, let's get Connor Hella pulled.
Yeah.
Come on.
Why not?
Why not?
Just go for it. Just see what you can do.
See what happens.
See what can happen. I mean,
see what happens.
It would be nice to be, on the winning end of a storybook ending for a change. That would be
sure.
That would be fun. It'd be a nice change
10,
of pace.
The most important game of the season. So far.
Famously, the most important game. If you don't win Game 10,
Obviously.
you can't win the Stanley Cup. Duh.
It's the rule.
Luke in the live chat says, "Is Anthony Stolarz going to be the Carey Price that takes us all the way to the Stanley Cup final?"
I hope so, man. Wouldn't that be great?
God,
that would be wonderful.
And Brendan says, "I think the Jets. I think the Jets. The Leafs should simply let the Jets go 9-0 and then see you Monday, Lauren." So, it's gonna be. I mean,
you know what my hope is? I hope that I can get a new one of these out. For my water bottle.
Jets tears, yeah.
Because in years past when the Leafs have beat the Jets, there's usually a couple salty Jets fans in the chat on the head-to-head. So I like pouring salt in that wound.
It would be nice. I mean, it all goes back to that ridiculous rivalry that built up in the COVID bubble. Is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Well, I mean, Jets haven't had great success against the Leafs since that moment. So, yeah, but I think that's on that mildly optimistic note. Let's leave things there. You'll be back on Monday for the Jets game. Good luck.
I'll be here.
Good luck.
Thanks,
taking on the game over Winnipeg crew. Hopefully we can win. But Lauren, where can people keep up with you in the meantime?
You can find me on Twitter, X, at Lauren in the 6. I do have Instagram, but it's private because I got a bunch of family photos on there. So if you want to get a hold of me, please reach out on Twitter. I will make sure if you have any questions or anything like that, anything you want me to talk about, any jabs you want me to get in on the Jets, if they do beat the Jets, then please send them into my inbox, because after the last 3 games where they have lost and I have been on Game Over, if I get to do a win, whoo boy howdy, am I gonna have some attitude? And
wouldn't it be nice if that win ended a pretty impressive start to the season. You can find me on social media at DominicJ25, mainly on Instagram, but trying to get better at the Twitter thing. And again, make sure you're following Game Over on all the various social media outlets. Like us on Facebook. You can do that. Subscribe on YouTube. Subscribe to all of the shows so you can listen to some great Canadian hockey content.
The game on Monday, is it in Toronto or is it in Winnipeg?
I believe it's in Winnipeg.
Okay, then the Game Over that night will be held on the Winnipeg Game Over channel. It will not be on the Leafs. So I will do my best to remind everybody on Twitter on Monday. Dom, I'm sure you're going to do the same.
Oh, absolutely.
But the head-to-head on Monday will be on the Game Over Winnipeg channel. So please make sure to come over and like and watch and give me some moral support.
Yes.
Because that is always a dicey game against the Jets, but it's going to be a great time. It'll be my second head-to-head of the season, and the head-to-heads are always a good time, no matter which way they go. So, it should be a good time. Thank you everybody for watching, and go Leafs, go!
Go Leafs, go! Come on, maybe Monday. Maybe Monday.